So we're gonna go ahead and open it, and we'll let you guys get first look before we look. And we're having
there's a glare.
Oh. We are having another girl. Oh my gosh. What's up, Legacy fam? We are back, and I know, it's been a while. It's been a good little minute.
Yes.
So if you have not already subscribed, please be sure to subscribe.
And hit that notification bell.
And you can continue to be a part of what we got going on in the Legacy Crew. So we just wanted to share with you guys a life update that we had as of recent, and it is not so good news, but good news in the sense that sometimes, you know, what's birthed out of pain is triumph and victory.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to come and share with you guys that at the beginning of August, we did have a miscarriage. We were 14 weeks along, and we knew that this pregnancy was going to be high risk. So this was like a 3-week process altogether that took place, and we really thought that things were going to go well. I'm a huge researcher, so I was researching. Okay, so what happens in this situation? You know, Chaz is a little bit older, so pregnancies are high risk. So, or they could be high risk rather.
Yeah.
So one of the things that took place, what kind of like sparked everything was Chaz, she was bleeding one Saturday. Actually, we were supposed to hang out with my parents. Shout out to them. We were supposed to go shopping and things like that. But they were on their way up here to Altamont or Orlando, and Chaz just started bleeding, and she did not stop. So we were just very, you know, worried, and we were shocked.
Like, what's going on?
What the heck is going on? Like, Lord, we cannot go through. In my mind, I'm thinking, Lord, we cannot go through another miscarriage. This is way too early. Like, what the heck is going on? So we get to the hospital. My parents meet us there, and we go through all of these tests. I'm like, you know, a little nervous and worried. And so the bleeding stops. We get the sonogram. No, is it sonogram? Ultrasound. We get an ultrasound, and what they find is what's called a subchorionic hematoma. Basically, that is a blood clot between the uterus and the placenta. And we were told, like, hey, this is gonna be fine. You know, you'll have a healthy pregnancy after this. Yeah. You're gonna pass this blood clot. Go see your OBGYN in the next couple days, and you know, they'll give you more information and updates as it relates to that.
I went to, you know, go see my OB, and, you know, she could hear the heartbeat. Our baby girl, we named her, we named her JL.
Yes, which means mountain goat, by the way. But it's biblical, so we liked it. So
she was able to hear JL's heartbeat and was like, oh, you know, yep, you're fine, your levels are fine. So, you know, I walked out of that office like remaining like hopeful and just excited. You know, excited that, you know, even though we were in 12 weeks along, that, hey, we're, you know, baby's still good.
Yes.
And it was more so the worry, if you want to say, was more so about me than like the baby. And so she had said, you know, you are going to pass this blood clot.
Eventually.
You know, eventually, so just kind of be on the lookout, and give me, you know, some more specifics and direction, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, and so fast forward 2 weeks, we were leaving the Orange County Convention Center.
Yes.
And I was like, whoa, like something's going on, and need, you know, whatever. So I actually ended up, you know, passing the blood clot, and that was, you know, needing to. And then
we thought we were in the clear. Like, we thought, like, hey, this is amazing. I mean, I wouldn't have wanted you to pass a blood clot at the convention center with 15,000 people, but I'm glad that you did. Yeah. We were able to find this like bathroom off to the side, and no one was there. It was perfect. But we ended up going home.
Yeah.
And Chaz, she was having cramps. She went to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't go to sleep at night. I like to stay up. And so, you know, she woke up, she was having these cramps. Then she saw that she was, you know, bleeding again. And I'm like, oh.
Like a lot.
My gosh.
Yeah.
This is not what I wanted to hear. You know, or, you know, and just thinking she was, you know, blood clot. I'm sorry if this is very vivid and visual, but just roll with it. So she was passing these blood clots, so I was like, okay, cool, like more blood clots, like this is normal, let's just go to the hospital. She told me, I sprung in the action. I woke Abby. This is again like at midnight.
Yeah.
You know, I woke Abby up.
Yeah.
And we're driving there, and it's just like, oh my gosh, what the heck is happening? My wife was getting lightheaded. Mm-hmm. You know, she was just, it was a mess. She was bleeding like a lot. Yeah. It was a mess. Yeah. And I'm like, Lord, like, my worst fears were like catching up to me at this point, because I'm like, God, like, I know that this much bleeding is the sign of a miscarriage. There's no way that the blood clot passed and she's still doing all of this bleeding. So she's getting lightheaded. We get to the hospital. I'm like, Lord, just let my wife live. I don't want her to, because you know, hospital was maybe 20 minutes away. Mm-hmm. And it felt like the longest 20 minutes of my life. I'm speeding. I'm like, and speeding, thinking like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. You know, my wife is in the back, Abby's in the back. I don't know what to do as a man. Struggling with, you know, me and Jesus having a conversation. I'm like, Lord, I'm just gonna have to get pulled over today. They're gonna have to meet me at the hospital and give me a ticket, because there's no way that I'm going to stop. And there was no one on the road. So I was, you know, mm-hmm. I was safe within reason, right? Mm-hmm. So we get there. Chaz is about to pass out. I'm running in. Like, hey, I need you guys to come grab my wife. This is what's going on. I think she's having a miscarriage. And they take her back, and they had to run all of these tests. Yeah. And she was losing blood, and she was she was going in and out of consciousness. And I'm like getting worried. I had Abby with me. I'm like, what the heck? I had my mom on the phone. I had Chaz's mom on the phone. Like, it was just like a lot. So I didn't really feel anything in the beginning, you know, because I was in so much shock, and I felt like I had to, you know, keep myself together for Chaz, as well as be able to communicate effectively with our parents. So did you want to?
I'll gather myself.
Gather yourself, girl. It's all good.
It is still a part of still grieving here. Anyway, so we, you know, after doing an ultrasound at the hospital, that it was determined that, you know, I was in the process of having a miscarriage. The doctor had confirmed that, and then they had done right there and then what is called a DNC. Don't ask me what that stands for, yeah. But it's some long name that I was like, oh my gosh, this is way longer than what I had thought. I don't even know how to pronounce this. Mm-hmm. So anyway, we had done a DNC there, and this is the crazy part. So before I went in and I was gonna be put under anesthetics, they had said, hey, we're gonna put a tube down your throat. It's just a part of, you know, the process, yeah. Whatever. Anyway, so, you know, you may just have a sore throat, like, you know, over the next couple days, whatever. You guys, like, I stinking ended up getting laryngitis. Mm-hmm. I thought it was strep throat, but then, like, nothing was swollen, and, like, I wasn't running a fever, the body aches, all the, you know, that craziness. It's like, okay, something is going on, like, I don't know what, I can't really talk. Mm-hmm. So it just was awful. So I ended up getting laryngitis, and then some nasal stuff, and they gave me like pain meds for cramp stuff, and it's like, I didn't have any of that. Yeah. I took a dose of Tylenol and a dose of stinking ibuprofen, and that's it. So I'm grateful about that. I dealt with laryngitis. and was off work for a week, you know, dealing with that and grieving. So,
yeah,
but I am grateful. Like, I cannot imagine like going through this alone. And I think that this miscarriage for me, like, it just felt different, just because, like, you know, we saw, you know, ultrasounds of Jael, and, you know, we could see her legs and arms and her heartbeat, and, you know, we knew the gender already. And so it just, you know, at 14 weeks along, like, you know, you're after, you know, I guess at any point in you know, in a pregnancy that, like, you know, things can happen, but it's like I just was thinking that, like, oh, we're out of the, you know, that first 12 weeks, you know, whatever, and so that we're in the clear.
We just happen to be like, what the doctor explained to us, we're like the rare case, where we would miscarry after 12 weeks, number one, but also miscarry with a subchorionic hematoma. So that wasn't relieving for me, because I'm like, okay, that's interesting. But, you know, for me, I thought in the beginning, because I was in a lot of shock, I could not feel anything, nothing at all. And I just thought, like, hey, it's gonna be this, that, you know, we've had a miscarriage before, it's okay, like, we can get through this. But it hits different.
Yeah.
You know, there's no miscarriage that will ever be the same for us, you know, and this miscarriage proved that. There's no miscarriage that is better or worse. It's just, you have to deal with it situationally, I guess you can say. But yeah.
I shed a lot of tears in the hospital.
In Target.
It was like, in Target, and then it was on Friday, August 16th, that I was supposed to have my
16-week appointment.
16 week, I think it was Friday, whatever. Anyway, I don't know what date it was, but it was a Friday, and I was driving home from work, and it really just hit me like a ton of bricks that it's like, man, today was supposed to be my 16-week appointment. And you know, that's not the case. We wanted to you know, really make this video, you know, one, to be really transparent about our lives, you know, what's going on, you know, life updates, whatever, and two, just to let other people know that, like, who share, you know, who have gone through miscarriages, that, or
who's going through one now,
that you are not alone. Like, every situation is different, but bottom line is that there's still loss that happens, and how do we deal with that? And so, you know, we want to, you know, we want to speak to you. Actually, I want to share with you what a friend of mine shared with me, and I don't want to get either of these titles wrong, and so I'm actually gonna read it. So one of the
put it down in the description.
I will. So one of the there's a website, and the author her name is Adriel Booker. And so you just go to adrielbooker.com, and you guys, she wrote a book. I have not personally read the book. A friend of mine has, but so her book is called Grace Like Scarlet: Grieving with Hope After Miscarriage and Loss. And she has a whole website, you guys, full of blogs and resources, and just, like, not only just about miscarriage, but about pregnancy and grieving. And then she has this journal that is free, actually. All you need to do is just, you know, put in your information, and that it's a spin-off, actually, of the book, and it's called Journaling Our Scarlet Stories, a journal prompts for processing miscarriage and loss. And you guys, this this journal, there's 84 questions, and, you know, I don't want to scare you here. So 84 questions sounds like a lot, and it is, but you can, you know, as you read through these questions, you can pick and choose which ones that you want to journal about. Really, it's supposed to just, you know, provoke, you know, in whatever way, you know, this grieving process. And so one of the questions was, are you, you know, in what way are you going to choose to honor, you know, your child's life? And so, you know, one of the ideas that, you know, I had brought up to Devan is, you know, maybe, so JL is supposed to be due January 31st. And so, like, you know, maybe taking a balloon and letting a balloon go, you know, in honor of her. And of course, Abs would be a part of that too.
Yeah.
So just, you know, whatever that looks like. So I will put all this information in the description for you to have, or maybe you know of a friend or a family member that, you know, has gone or is going through it. You guys, this is a really great resource, and this is a really hard topic to talk about too.
Especially for men.
Yeah. Do you want to...
Well, I was just, you know, grateful for our community that they did not count me out, I guess you could say. A lot of times it's easy to grieve with women, but it's hard for men to grieve together, which it's something that I kind of want to break, and it's something that I want to create a culture of grief for men, because we feel these things and sometimes we ignore it, or we don't want to acknowledge it, and then they show up in other areas of our lives. So, you know, shout out to my boy John and Rain, you know, Eddie, my good friend CJ, like, for being there for me and having, you know, those conversations with me. And also, you know, Randall, I don't want to forget about you, my man. I always feel bad because I'm like, man, I'm gonna forget somebody. But if I haven't named you, thank you.
We just were surrounded by family from a distance, and friends.
So guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure, if you are going through this process and you're trying to find ways to grieve, you're trying to find ways to gather your thoughts, you're trying to find ways to process, look at the resources that we're going to provide down below. Even if you want to shoot us a quick email, that'll also be down in the description box. And we would, you know, the Bible says to mourn with those who mourn, laugh with those who laugh. And we truly want to be there for those who may be going through this. We know firsthand, you know, what it feels like. So yeah, thanks so much. And if you haven't subscribed and you've made it this far in the video, go ahead and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you in the next video.
All right.